All right, you guys, we're here at my surf shop, Infinity Surfboards, Dana Point, California. Thought we'd show you around the shop a little bit. Shop's been here since 1985. Can you believe that? Got to do some landscaping, but don't look at that. We'll edit that out. But yeah, welcome. Come on in. But yeah, the ceiling's 20 feet high. And the reason for that is when we first moved in here in the 80s, windsurfing was like a big deal. And we were a big windsurf company making custom windsurfers. And the sails were on display right here. So they're like literally touching the ceiling and you could kind of like thumb through them all. And then as chance would have it, stand-up paddleboards became popular. So we eventually put the paddleboards up against the wall. But we have the paddle zone upstairs, which I'll show you, but pretty cool. You walk in, got all our Infinity apparel, just some cool gear like the Rux box. These are pretty neat. These are all handmade by my dad. He made the blanks, glued up all the stringers, glassed them, and they're perfectly to scale. So if you took like an 11-foot board and scaled it down, the rocker, the thickness, everything is to scale, made by hand. And these are little surfboard models my dad made back in 1962 and 66 before he actually shaped real surfboards. So it's kind of cool. Like here's his original little models as a kid. These are some that he's making right now. Pretty cool shit. But you know, typical surf shop, got all the gear, surfboards back here. Back there's the shaping room, and upstairs we'll check out the paddle zone. You step on the paddle like a freak doormat, you know it's about to get serious. Got the race boards, Whiplash, Ever Ready, Downtown, Blackfish Ghost White, Blackfish Candace Appleby, E-Tickets, White Aquatic Air, E-Ticket Air. Don't look at that, that's a Blackfish inflatable. We don't make those. And then we got our paddles. Every kind of paddle you could need. High-end racing, high-end surfing, adjustable, travel paddle. It's all good. We got the surf stuff too. But you can see we're low on stock, but we got a new container arriving in just a couple weeks. So this will be full of all the new stuff, including the two boards you saw this morning, the Beeline Twin Bloater V3. So that'll be very exciting. And one of the cool spots about the shop is this overlook. So if you see that section right I was showing you with my dad's model surfboards, that actually kind of turns into a stage. And then above it, we'll project like surf clips or like do a slideshow and people stand on that stage, play music, you know, do a little talk story. And so it almost gives it that auditory or, you know, amphitheater feel. Guys are up here with their beers down there. Just a kind of a cool little open house feel. Yes, if you come by the shop, a couple cool things. I try to put a little bit of history in here. You know, Infinity's been around since 1970, believe it or not. My parents started in 1970 in Huntington Beach. Up here you can see, here's a little mural, so to speak. This is the original Infinity shop in Huntington Beach with the sign, "Perfect Surfboards for You, Infinity." And that's kind of the crew that worked there at the time. And it's hard to see, but this is my dad right here sitting down with the sunglasses. And then my mom is right here leaning up against the wall. So pretty rad, kind of an iconic shot for Infinity. And like this board right here, this was actually one of the boards that was on display in the shop, which you could see. This is kind of inside where the boards are on display, kind of like they are right here, but that's what it looked like inside. Back here, even harder to see, but if you kind of step back, it's kind of more of a, just kind of cool photos of my parents, really. You know, I really kind of respect and I'm proud of, you know, all the stuff they've done through the years. Wanted to definitely kind of show it off. And obviously this is my parents, this is their famous tandem skateboarding shot, which was shot in Costa Mesa. And that was the inspiration for their statue that they have in Dana Point. So if you're ever in Dana Point, go to the Waterman's Plaza, what it's called. There's a bunch of iconic surfers from Dana Point, and they have statues. My parents are one of the guys that were selected to get a statue, but it looks like that. Pretty rad. And then hard to see, so I apologize, but back here, I don't know if you can get back here. So that top photo is a photo of my parents tandem surfing really big Makaha. It's on the west side of Oahu. This bottom shot is a photo of my parents in front of our original surfboard factory, which was in Santa Ana. And it's still a surfboard factory, actually. It's called Ocean Works. Friends of ours bought it a long time ago, and they've been crushing it ever since. And they still actually make glass some of our boards, which is pretty rad. And then this photo I just thought is really cool. Obviously my parents are known for tandem surfing, and that's just a cool shot. I think it was shot from the Huntington Beach Pier of them about to catch a wave. And yeah, so that's pretty rad. And then come over here. You'll see throughout the shop, we've got vintage infinity boards. Over the years, I've collected about 50 of them. I don't need any more. But it's like when they're super cool and have like cool, unique artwork or something, it's hard for me to pass up, and I usually end up buying it. But what kind of got me on the kick was this board right here. And you can see it's got some pretty wild art on it, you know, like the naked mermaid kind of thing. But the thing that was so rad about it, the guy actually who bought that board brought it back to the shop. He's like, hey man, I thought you guys should have this board. I bought it from Infinity in 1970 something. And I was like, wow, this is super cool. I never really thought of collecting old Infinity boards. This is probably like 20 years ago now. But it's hard to see, but there's a photo below, and that guy gave me that photo. On the left is my dad, and the right is the guy who owned the board. And that's when he picked it up brand new at the Infinity shop, and there's the board right there. So stuff like that is just pretty rad. So then if you walk a little bit further upstairs, you'll see this redwood board. And this redwood board is pretty crazy. So it was made in 1938. Like, think about that for a second. 1938, this board was made. And it was made by Whitey Harrison, local Dana Point surfer. And the cool thing about it was this board would surf, you know, the famous surf spot, Killer Dana, which is now gone because of the harbor. But it was probably the best surf. It was probably the best wave in this whole entire area, which was ruined by the harbor. Long story short, this is a photo of Whitey Harrison riding this board at Killer Dana. And we have it here on display. Pretty badass. It's 100 pounds, so it doesn't move. And then you kind of come up, I have some of my favorite boards I've collected over the years. This one's pretty rad because it's a super early board. This is definitely like 1971, 72. You could tell by the logo and also the serial number. If I had to guess, it's 1971. And this one's actually a knee board. This one's pretty rad because it's an 80s thruster. That's when like all the crazy artwork started happening, and we started using ultralight foam. Really hard to find an 80s thruster in really good condition because the ultralight foam, the boards are really brittle and soft. They just got destroyed. So to find one that nice is pretty rad. This is just another cool one. I just like the original Stingfish logo is on there. You can see it's got that sting tail. This board right here with the triple stringer is actually in the photo that I showed you earlier of the original shop with the crew sitting outside. This board is sitting in the window. So how weird and cool is that? This board is in the photo I have down there, and somehow it returned and I got it. This one's probably one of my favorite ones I have. just because how rare it is. Right before my dad started Infinity, he worked at a surfboard factory up in LA. I think it was in Torrance. And what they did was they manufactured several surf brands. I think like GNS, Soul was one of them. So it was basically like kind of like a collaboration of shapers making multiple surf labels. So my dad made some of these. He shaped some boards for Soul, which a lot of people don't know. I didn't even know that till I actually typed in my dad's name on eBay, you know, when you're just doing your searches for fun, and this board popped up, and I asked my dad about it. He's like, oh yeah, I did make a couple of those, you know? Old guys, their memory, dude. But that board, if you take it down, it's early 70s, and it's way ahead of its time. It'll blow your mind. Like the rails feel like shortboards. It's got a really pointed nose. It's got a squash tail, and it's got like a full like shortboard rocker in it. And I don't know, kind of blew my mind how rad that was. But that's probably one of my favorite boards. But yeah, you come by the shop, you can check them all out. I've got like another 15 in the closet. I don't know where to put them. But yeah, that's where it all happened. And then I hide back here. So basically, a lot of times if I surf in the morning, like come straight here, answer emails, work on a couple, you know, I have a handful of custom orders I got to get through and get running. So I'll design those up, order up the foam, do a little bit of marketing stuff, you know, maybe throw a little social edit, get back to some team riders, check in, and yeah, just kind of see how the flow of the day goes. But yeah, pretty much I'm just going to do some office stuff, and probably go down in the shape room and organize a few things for our pickup Thursday. And then, yeah, we'll go down to performance paddling this afternoon and end the evening there. So typical day in the life, shred and speed. All right, Dad's done for the day. But so at one point or another during the day, I end up in here, and that is the shaper room. Let's check it out. So it's pretty cool. The shaping room is located at our retail location, just in the back downstairs. And it's pretty unique. There's not many surf shops that still kind of do it this way and shape on site. You know, you can look in here and there's actual foam dust, and you know, it's pretty dirty, and there's, you know, guys have been working in here. You go to a lot of surf shop, or you go to a lot of shaping rooms, and just because, you know, there's a lot of CNC shaping going on, which I do the most CNC stuff, but, you know, we still hand shape. We still get down the old school way. These are all my dad's classic templates. You know, he's got a collection of skill planers. He's got like 6 of those things, but yeah, just handmade, and we do it the right way here. And of course we take advantage of technology like CNC cutting and CAD design as well, but everything starts with the hand shape, which is pretty cool. What I'm working on right now is, I'll show you, Vissla, the clothing brand, does an event called the Cosmic Creek every year. And fortunately for me, they do like a shapers division. So they invite, I think it's like 12 shapers every year, and they give you parameters of what to shape. And then you shape the board specifically for the event, and then you compete on the board. So each shaper shapes their own board, and we ride them in the heats, and we talk boards and stuff. It's actually a really, really cool event. It's called Cosmic Creek. So this year, I'm making a twin fin, because it either has to be a twin fin or a single fin. And I thought I would make this spaceship, is what I call it. And this is a collaboration design between myself and a good friend, Eric Diamond. And so yeah, I'm gonna make a spaceship. This one is 6'9", and I'm gonna do a really cool build on this, and maybe I'll vlog some of that as well. But we're gonna do this is a super light stringerless EPS core, but I'm gonna do a carbon vacuum bag. So this thing's gonna be crazy light, and just, it's gonna look pretty cool. But yeah, just a rad twin fin. You can see it's got a nice V with the wing, and usually I do a twin with a trailer, but I think I'm just gonna delete the trailer and just go pure twin. But yeah, so here I'll show you. Basically, when the board's done being shaped, I get the logos and the order card all set to go. So obviously it says my name on there because this board's for myself. It has the specs on there. It's an order form, right? So I'm gonna do a light gray opaque color on the deck, and then the bottom's gonna be clear, so it'll be clear carbon. And then you can see we're gonna go vacuum bag carbon. But I was saying this is a collaboration between myself and Eric Diamond, so we have like this cool little specific logo package. So it's like Infinity spaceships, kind of the bow tie Infinity logo. I think that's really cool. And ED, Eric Diamond, he's pretty much a legendary graphic designer in the world of surf. His thing's called Diamond Mine. So we do the Diamond Mine Infinity spaceships collab, and he made this logo as well. So it's the Diamond Mine Infinity spaceships. So pretty cool, pretty fun. ED's been a long time friend of mine. He's a little older than me, so you know, kind of been that uncle figure growing up here in Salt Creek. Been a bit influence on myself. You know, he's a creative guy and a really good surfer and a goofy foot. So definitely looked up to him over the years. Pure Glass does all my EPS work. So I write PG on there so they know when they come here to grab it. They'll be here tomorrow. And I just set it up here in the outgoing rack. Got a race board going out, foil board, a couple short boards. So it's kind of a light week this week, but yeah, I'll be stoked to do that. So yeah, just giving you another little look into my day. And job's finished in here, so we're gonna hit the lights and we'll see you later. Performance Paddle.